what can we do that hasn't been done before that would be really engaging for our audiences? And also, I think as teachers, I don't know, Tremon, if you feel this way, but sometimes it's nice to go, oh, I'm engaged in a different capacity, in a different way, with a different creative idea, and I'm excited about this. It's not just churning out those old worn classics. This is something fresh and new, and that's exciting for me.
Oh no, I no, most definitely, and during that 1 month or
Yeah.
month and a half, you really get a chance to get those creativity chops going. And it also allows all of us to incorporate different parts of our middle school or high school community as well.
We actually, because I live in Texas, we did some Christmas caroling on fiddles. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but we just did a route, and we went door to door and went to people that maybe aren't able to get out.
The biggest thing for all of us to think about is the opportunity to be creative, because the creativity piece is going to open up other possibilities down the road.
This podcast is sponsored by LCL Mentors, from leaders creating leaders, found at lclmentors.com.
Hey everybody, this is Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. Welcome to the Marching Roundtable podcast. We're all about holiday concert programming, everybody. You're thinking about how can I make this year's holiday concert more interesting, or some advice for how to do that. We have two wonderful people on the line with us. Darcy Radcliffe is here. Darcy, how are you?
I am doing great. Excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being a part of this. And Tremon Kizer is with us. Tremon, how are you?
I'm doing well, and thank you very much for the opportunity just to chat for a little while.
Absolutely. So we're going to have sort of a relaxed, friendly conversation about thinking about holiday concert programming, which I think is going to be really helpful. Darcy, first off, if you could just sort of let us know who you are and where you are in the world.
Yes, I am an orchestra director, and I am in Texas. I've taught high school orchestra since 2001, and I'm now in Lubbock, Texas, and starting an orchestra program from scratch, from the very beginning, for Friendship ISD right outside of Lubbock.
Wow, how cool. Starting from scratch. So you can set it up, you can make it whatever you want it to be. Yeah. That's like a ridiculous amount of work, and also really cool. So
yeah, I'm excited to get to build something new. So
I think that sounds wonderful. Okay, Tremon, how about you?
This is my 8th academic year or 9th academic year here at the University of Central Florida, where I serve as the Associate Director of Bands, Director of Athletic Bands, and Associate Director for the School of Performing Arts. Before I was here, I taught in other colleges and universities, 6 years at previous schools, but I also have taught for 5 years in public schools, teaching grades 5 through 12 instrumental music. So this is really a passion of mine, and it's great to be able to have the opportunity to teach from 5th grade all the way through 16th, 17th, 18th grade.
Absolutely. And I realize, of course, that we have asked you to do this conversation in October, in the middle of marching season for UCF. So thank you for stopping. I know how busy you must be.
Oh, thank you very much.
So this podcast is sponsored by Leaders Creating Leaders, the folks behind LCL Mentors. Tremon, what's your relationship with LCL? What are you doing with these guys?
Well, with LCL, I really try to work on cultivating relationships between other teachers and helping other teachers be the best version of themselves through leadership opportunities, but then also working with student leaders within different marching programs across the country. So it's quite normal to go work with student leaderships within different counties, and as well as within different school systems across the state.
Absolutely. Leaders Creating Leaders doing great work in that way. Everybody can find that at leaderscreating.com. Darcy, what's your relationship with the LCL team?
Well, I'm a new addition to the LCL team, and I am one of the only orchestra string people that are part of the organization. So all of this is still very new to me, but I'm available to mentor other teachers. In my career, I've had 18 student teachers, and I have clinician groups all over the state of Texas and around the world. So I'm excited to be a part of this organization to continue to mentor young teachers.
That's fantastic. Thank you, both of you, for being a part of this. I love the work that they're doing, and thanks for taking time today to share your expertise in this way. So, holiday programming. Darcy, I'll start with you. Where would you start the conversation? What's the first thing you would want somebody to know?
Well, I think for me, what I realized when it came to holiday programming is that it is an opportunity to be really creative. So I know in the state of Texas and other states, there's a lot of adjudicated events that take place during the school year, or you're creating the skill set for that adjudicated event. And in Texas, we have a big UIL contest that happens, and we have festivals. But Christmas kind of falls in between, kind of falls in the cracks, right? And people feel differently about Christmas music than they do other music. People listen to a lot of music during that time of year, and there's a lot of nostalgia. And so when I finally put this together, that, hang on, this is an opportunity to be creative in a new way, I really kind of sunk my teeth into that. So I started looking at lots of different genres and lots of different venues. So I think knowing your audience, knowing your venue, kind of can help you drive programming a little bit.
I love that. That's super great way to look at it, because you're absolutely right. There's like not a lot of pressure for this concert to have to, like, you know, you can sort of have fun with it and relax.
Yeah.
Tremon, how do you feel about it the same way?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, Darcy brings up some amazing points, especially with it falling in the cracks of everything that goes on. Especially when you think about things on the marching side, you are having to do all of these different football games, and then you're having to do your music performance assessments, and then after that you possibly have to do the holiday parade, which is a whole different type of programming that you might have to prepare for. But then after that, a week or two after that, you potentially have this holiday concert. So out of the 9-month curriculum that you have, here's the 1 month you get to, you don't have to worry about a list. You don't have to worry about a panel of adjudicators. It really is, as Darcy said, a way to be nostalgic and create those really, really neat feelings. So, so beyond the, you know, thinking about the venue and thinking about the different types of literature selections, you know, it also gives you an opportunity to think about what your ensemble skill set is. You've been within the marching world, you've been doing this outside thing, focused on one show for so long. Well, over the course of those few months, you might have had students that have progressed in different areas and have gained new skills, especially those students who are in their first year of high school. That really gives you an opportunity to reset, figure out what your ensemble or ensembles look like, place people within their certain skill sets within ensembles, and then be able to figure out the type of music that might be suited for that new skill set, since you've had these few months of everybody playing the same show, the same music around the same group of people.
Right.
Yeah, some WIN programs are fortunate enough to be able to do some concert music during the fall semester, but not all do. And to your point, Tremon, a lot of people are just thinking about marching band and maybe some stands tunes, those kind of things. So I remember, for me, I haven't been in the classroom for a long time. I've been self-employed most of my career, but I will never forget, like, finally getting out, let's pull out the sleigh ride and play through it. And like everybody lights up, because it just feels like fun to me. And I love that idea of not having the pressure. And to your point, it's also sort of a testing ground. Like, Darcy, when you get to this point, you can start, especially, I think, you know, you've not been doing the marching stuff, thank goodness for you. No offense to anybody. But for us in the WIN band, to Tremon's point, you can sort of figure out, where are my students? You know, how much have they grown during this fall season?
Yeah, I think that's true. I think, you know, on the string side of things, the orchestral side of things, we're not so much participating in parades, though I have done that, and that's not easy to do out in the cold. But you know, you can also collaborate with other organizations, or civic things. So I know, like, for orchestra, we would play every year for the city tree lighting. Okay, well, so you don't want to regurgitate the same thing. And let's be honest, some of those Christmas tunes get overplayed. So I also got a little, I mean, I've taught for a long time now. So after a while, you're like, I cannot hear Sleigh Ride butchered one more time. I just can't handle it. And my students all know it, because I've heard it played wrong so much. Yeah. But there's a lot of other things, though, that kind of get overplayed that time of year. So, but there's so many wonderful pieces of music written that we don't think about, that I thought, let's go unearth some of this stuff and let's see maybe what we need to like review again or re-listen to again and reintroduce to the culture. So, there's a lot of different approaches that I've taken with picking music for Christmas time, for holiday. There's plenty of classical pieces that people forget about. In the string world, Corelli's Concerto Grosso No. 8, which is known as the Christmas Concerto, is like gorgeous. And when I think of Christmas music, I think of beauty, right? And there's a lot of darkness and there's a lot of stillness. And how can we embrace that? And I think the Corelli piece is one of those. And then there's other things like there's the Amal and the Night Visitors. That's another, the Shepherd's Dance from Amal and the Night Visitors. Not everybody knows that, but it's a story that's told about, the Christ child and the little boy following the star. And that's always exciting. The Overture to Handel's Messiah is another really beautiful piece of music that's classical, or music from the Nutcracker. Tchaikovsky's music. Lots of music by Bach is really appropriate for this time of year, like Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring, or Sheep May Safely Graze. So I've gone back and I've found some of those things. And then I think another really cool concept for this time of year is collaborating. So I don't usually collaborate with the marching band, no offense, but I do try to draw in other organizations, and that's always kind of rejuvenated what we've done. Choral music that time of year is really, really, really beautiful. And so finding like the David Wilcox carols, doing like a sing along with your audience, if that's appropriate, has been one way to kind of pull in some outside influences and to also reclaim some of those gems that maybe have been forgotten in the wider culture.
Okay, so I love both of those points. Tremon, there is a lot of great classical music. You don't have to be playing fluff, right, to do this holiday concert stuff. I love that you made that point, Darcy.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I mean that is so important that that even during this time of year, we're putting quality music in front of students, and that is first and foremost music that is going to resonate with the students, but then also resonate with the community. So really, so one, figuring out what your community needs during that time of year, but then two, and I think that within certain communities, and you really have to think about what community that you are in. But while there are some people that would like to hear a lot of religious music during that time of year, you have to make sure that every demographic and every group within the community is represented. So perhaps going in different directions and playing pieces such as thinking about what movies that might be played during that time of year, like Home Alone. So songs such as Somewhere in My Memory might resonate with people. So just giving them the feeling of nostalgia, giving them the feeling of family, giving them the feeling of positivity is going to go a long way. Songs such as Let It Snow, songs such as even the Jingle Bells, but then also incorporating chamber ensembles within your concerts so that smaller ensembles can play some of those tunes that you might think that you have to play year in and year out as a large ensemble, but allowing smaller groups to do that. And then along with those smaller groups, allowing the students within your program to have ownership of those chamber ensembles. I know a lot of us have played the GL Holmes small holiday books for brass, bringing those out and allowing your chamber ensembles to take care of that. And then on top of that, as Darcy has said, including choirs within your programming so that you have a larger audience that are coming to your concerts as well. So I think it really is a great way to incorporate different types of music that can be more religious based, but then also non-religious based, and still the goals be satisfied.
Right. Yeah. And on that note, like for string music, thinking about movies, nostalgic movies. I mean, we watch the same movies, don't we, over and over and over again. And so from Christmas time, for string orchestra, there's a really great arrangement of Charlie Brown Christmas and The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. There's some two great arrangements there that I had pulled out, every 4 or 5 years, because they're just really worth doing. And the music from Hollywood from the 1940s to 50s, we were, World War II, Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Judy Garland, some of the stuff, Let It Snow, like I'll Be Home for Christmas. So many people have a very strong emotional response to hearing some of that, because it does make you feel like this is time to embrace those that we love. And I think that's a wonderful idea. On the diversity point that you just made, I have had that issue, or not issue, I've had that opportunity to work with people of other beliefs and other backgrounds where they don't participate in sacred music. And so then you think, well, gosh, what are we going to do during the holiday time when a lot of people want to hear that? I one year had a particular challenge with that, and so I thought, what can we do that will be celebratory and will be festive, but without cutting anybody out. I don't want anybody to just sit in the back of my classroom for 6 weeks while we're working on this music. So I started brainstorming, and I thought, okay, when I think about this time of year, I think about it being cold. Not that it ever is in Texas, but I think about it. And I think, what do I want people to feel, and what could we do? So I just started listening. I just listened to a lot of music. And I think sometimes as teachers, we get tired of listening. We get overly saturated, but I just started listening, and I listened to music from Sweden, and some of the folk music from there has a lot of fiddle throughout it. And that started to spark an idea. So music from Denmark as well is a lot like that. And so I just put together a concert of folk music from the Arctic. It was beautiful. And did we know any of the lyrics? No, we did not. And I did do like program notes in the program so people could understand where it was coming from. But we also, this was for a concert, so we had stage lighting. So we made everything blue, and we made everything dark, and we made everything kind of feel cold, and we used stand lights, and we just kind of set the stage for that sense of we are together in the stillness with this beauty. And it was really original. It was really, really breathtaking. And it was just a lot of fun, So I think, again, going back to what we started with, like, what can we do that hasn't been done before that would be really engaging for our audiences? And also, I think as teachers, I don't know, Tremon, if you feel this way, but sometimes it's nice to go, oh, I'm engaged in a different capacity, in a different way, with a different creative idea, and I'm excited about this. It's not just churning out those old worn classics. This is something fresh and new, and that's exciting for me.
Oh no, I know, most definitely, and during that 1 month or month and a half, you really get a chance to get those creativity chops going. And it also allows all of us to incorporate different parts of our middle school or high school community as well.
Yeah.
With the different types of pieces that we might do, that you're able to engage your social studies teachers potentially on maybe expanding a unit or doing a different type of unit on a different type of culture or a different type of something that allow all students across the school or even within a particular grade to learn something more about. It allows for the English teachers too, if they find that we're doing different types of literature outside of the norm, to explore different types of English literature that might be within that country during that particular type of time period. What do the words actually mean with some of the pieces that we're programming, or even bringing in the choir to sing some of the lyrics as well. So it really does allow more. It really does bring in a completely different type of community than what we might be engaged with, prior to.
Yeah, I love that. Some of the programming that I've done, as I'd mentioned before, has had to do with the venue that we're playing in or the audience that we would have. And I I know that there's a lot of civic events that happen that time of year, and there's a lot of planned concerts that are collaborative. But I also, to go back to what you said about chamber music, we would do like, 19 to 20, 30 performances in the month of December, because we would go in small groups. And I think you were alluding to that as well. Retirement homes is a big one. And reaching out to those that maybe kind of are feeling a little bit kind of lost or set apart, maybe forgotten, and going in and performing for the elderly and making sure that we stop and talk with them. But having a set list of music that's ready for that kind of event. We actually, because I live in Texas, we did some Christmas caroling on fiddles. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but we just did a route, and we went door to door and went to people that maybe aren't able to get out. We also one year did the 12 Days of Christmas, and this was kind of a concept following the Tiny Desk concerts that you see on NPR. And we needed to get in this public eye a little bit more at that time, and so we did Christmas carols or portions of a Christmas carol in different offices all over our school district. And it was good to get inside an administrator's office without a problem, to be there to celebrate. The nurse's office, I mean, they felt so included. And then we put it up on YouTube. And so then every day for 12 days in a row, we publish a new video. And so then extended family were also able to get in on the celebration. And then as far as the education side of that, when you record yourself, you sure do learn a lot. And so it really honed my students' ability to play on the spot, in tune, with awareness, in tempo, with energy, right? Mm-hmm. That it really does. I mean, you're put on the spot. And so it was a win-win in a lot of ways. It was a lot of fun. And again, another way to be creative that time of year and connective too, which I think is part of what that time of year is about.
Oh, yes. And on the athletic band side, because athletic bands have just finished up with marching band, there are some schools across the country, and I know that every state does this, but there are some schools that have to deal with basketball band or basketball pep band or wrestling pep band, yeah, or those different types of winter sports that are starting up, and that's also an opportunity to play different types of holiday music. Sometimes the only times when people are going to come see music events are going to be at that basketball game or at that wrestling match. And so doing different types of pieces might inspire them to go to that orchestra concert or that winter concert because the pep band is being a representative of right. of the music department.
Right. And that's such a wonderful thing that the band has, because it does draw an audience in. They get the word out. Hey, we're about to have a Christmas concert or a holiday event, and people know about it that way. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, so I am super impressed with this line of thinking, because we are always trying to figure out, how can I be more visible in the community? How can I be more of a part of my community? And how can I interact with different parts of my school building and not just be this insular thing down in the band room or the orchestra room or whatever? And you guys these are great examples. There is nothing like if you go play any kind of music in the nurse's office or the front desk of the school, or like this, your relationship with them will never be the same. Go take your string quartet to play for the counselors, and they are on your team. Like, we're trying to win the school over. And Tremon, you mentioned this too, like the English teachers or social studies, like, let's get them involved in what we're doing. It's not that hard, everybody. You just have to sort of reach out, send an email, whatever it works, to see if you can get them involved. These things are really a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. And sometimes sometimes we surprise ourselves with how much more buy-in that we do get just from including other teachers. I mean, we're always borrowing students, we're borrowing teachers, we're borrowing a little bit of everything to make this ecosystem work. So the more we can include everybody within what we do, one, it's going to feel more like a family atmosphere. But two, the other teachers in the school are going to have even more ownership of the programs that we're continually trying to cultivate. Mm-hmm. And I think the amazing thing too is from an academic standpoint, actually from an academic / discipline standpoint, most of the students in our orchestra room and in our band room and our choir room, they're some of the best students. And so sometimes when some of those students might go to other classes, other teachers might have a tough time trying to connect with those students. But most of the time we're able to connect with all of our students. So when we engage other teachers to come into our classroom or to share units, and they're able to see the students that they might have issues with, either on their best behavior or highly engaged, they're able to get more ideas on how to connect with those students as well. So it's amazing what we can do with holiday music. It's not just about the programming of holiday music and understanding your ensemble and understanding what your community needs, but it really is a way to help students become the best version of themselves as well through including other teachers.
Right. And you know how competitive everything is now. I feel like in public school, like we started the conversation off talking about adjudication and contests, right? And so in the state of Texas, we have solo and ensemble that's adjudicated, and we have our UIL contest that's adjudicated. We have state solo and ensemble, and we have all region orchestra that's adjudicated. We have all, and while I see the benefit in there being some competition and some accountability in that way, that's not really what music is about, right? And I think we sometimes get that out of balance. It starts to swing really hard towards that competitive side when it should not be necessarily about that. It should be about expression. It should be about creativity. It should be about talent and growth and that kind of thing, and lots of other things. But I think this time of year we can get back to let's connect, let's collaborate, let's work together. And it's not about me versus you. It's not about this or that. It's about both and.
Yeah, I love that. And I think we're always trying to get our kids to do this, train for music, get a little group together. Well, if you do it at a holiday concert, it just seems fun rather than a task, right? Like the trumpets are going to get together and they're going to learn some ensemble thing. And it's going to be a quick moment in the concert. Not only does it make your concert more interesting with all these varied things that are happening, but they take ownership of that. It becomes their thing. And this is just a great way to get them excited about doing some small ensemble work that will hopefully carry on. So I do think we have opportunities here. You guys are mentioning so many great ideas. We have an opportunity to get our kids excited about being a musician and playing music in a way that doesn't feel like I'm going to get judged, right? This is, I think, your point. Like it's just me having fun with my friends, playing a holiday tune that I like or whatever. I think
I get to do this, not I have to. I get to, and this helps us kind of get back to that.
Yeah, I think that's super important. Gosh, this has been a great conversation. I mean, so many ideas, ways to bring everybody together, to include everybody. Really good. So, is there anything that we missed that you came with that you haven't mentioned? I think we kind of hit it all.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're good. Well, then I'm just going to ask you each, what would you like to say when we're wrapping this up? Tremon, I'll let you go first. What would you say wrapping up the conversation? What would you like to leave somebody with? One point you made you want to reiterate, or a final thought?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing for all of us to think about is the opportunity to be creative, because the creativity piece is going to open up other possibilities down the road. You being creative is going to allow other teachers in your school to be creative. It's going to unhandcuff the students and the program to be even more creative. And quite frankly, when people see your creativity, that's going to put even more of a spark in the other programs that might be around your community, other high schools or middle schools. And it could potentially allow for some additional collaboration, some shared concerts during a time of year when, as Darcy has said, when there's this competition piece with every single thing. So creativity is the most important part of this, I think, for long lasting success with all of our programs.
Yeah, and if you're at a school that doesn't have just tons and tons of kids, right? Like including the orchestra and the choir, and then you do a big finale all together and we're all singing the carols and audience sing along, and like all of a sudden you've created this really great musical moment for your students and for your audience. And I think like this is an opportunity, and you'll pack the house, everybody. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna fight to come hear holiday music. Like this is not a hard sell. So this is an opportunity to win everybody over and create a lot of excitement. Darcy, what would you say in closing?
I mean, I would just have to agree with that. I think I'd like to encourage directors to get out of the rut of maybe what they've done before and go listen to things and remember what was special to them maybe as a child. And try something new. Look for some new ways of doing something that they've done before.
Well, this has been a really great conversation. You guys are both doing such great work. Thank you for taking time to record this with me today and to share it. Darcy and Tremon, thank you so much. Great job today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a pleasure and honor.
Marching Arts Education is the home of the Marching Roundtable podcast. We give you access to the top marching arts professionals through live webinars, podcasts, videos, interviews, and online coursework. With over 1,000 podcasts and hundreds of webinars and videos, there are hours of great professional development for you and your staff. Sign up for a membership to Marching Arts Education to get complete access to all webinars, videos, and podcasts, plus discounts on coursework. Many directors are using professional development funds through their school or boosters to make these resources available to their staff. Imagine what you could do with so many great new ideas from the top professionals in our activity. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and sign up for our newsletter to find out about the latest podcasts, webinars, and new content. Find all of this and sign up at marchingartseducation.com.